Hello everyone, and welcome back to another day, another album. It's a brand new day. Let's go see what album we're talking about on this brand new day. What do we got? Alright, so today we're talking about the fourth collaborative album between Atlanta rap legend and activist Killer Mike and underground titan LP under their Run the Jewels project, RTJ4. Between their first three projects, RTJ had made some of the wildest and hardest hitting hip-hop of the entire 2010s. And personally, as an outside observer, I was unsure if they'd continue that album run beyond their initial trilogy. This album ended up being the first project of theirs that I actually got into, as I listened to a lot of it while I was working at a food bank during the COVID summer of 2020, before I would go back into their earlier work. This fourth outing is both an amazing continuation of the sound that these two have crafted over the last decade, as well as being a great entry point to the group. RTJ4 sees the group meld the banger energy of the first two RTJ projects with the political focus of the third into 11 tracks of some of the best hip-hop that year. The opening track, Yankee and the Brave, is one of their best, starting like a television show, cutting back from commercial to a tale of a shootout between our protagonists and the police. The beat is frantic and noisy, the flows are great, and the bars exchanged between the two show the chemistry between the Yankee LP and the Atlanta Brave Killer Mike. One of my favorite moments on the entire album is when LP raps that Mike owes him for these nights, so he doesn't just get to die yet. That's a great moment. The next track, Ooh La La, is the biggest from the album, and fittingly too, because this track is fucking phenomenal. From the Ooh La La Ah Wee Wee chorus from Greg Nice with some amazing delivery and some great bars from the two rappers that trade off of each other all over one of the hardest knocking beats they've ever made. The ending scratching solo from DJ Premier is just a cherry on top of this amazing song. If there's any one song you should check out from this project, this would be it. The bangers continue into the next track, Out of Sight, which opens with another knocking beat with some hard-hitting vocal samples matching a bumpin' 808. The flows on this song are again a standout, especially from Mike here. My favorite line in the song is when Mike is talking about being as cold as your baby mama when you fucking on another girl and she don't got that river. God damn. I think I shrunk. This chair's been weird. Fuck. Oh shit. I've been having chair problems lately. 2 Chainz came through with some classic wordplay with a comedic vein throughout without losing its lyrical intensity. These 3 tracks are bangers in a row, and one of the best opening 3 songs I've heard on an album. Holy Calamafuck brings a bit of a change of energy to something a bit darker and heavier on the percussion. The first half of the track is my favorite part, though the beat change in the second half is a good part as well. The first half of the song is personally my favorite, though the beat change in the second half is still pretty good. The only thing is, past that change, the song doesn't sound unlike much of Run the Jewels 3, which, I'll be honest, is my least favorite Run the Jewels, though it's not a bad album at all. This just kind of feels like deja vu. They're not really breaking any new ground here. Goonies vs. E.T. continues the weird samples and features more speedy flows matching the faster beat here. And while the instrumental doesn't quite reach as high as others on the project, the vocal performances are the real standout here, especially on LP's breakdown in the first verse. Walking in the Snow brings some rock guitars and a horror movie sounding intro sample into a spacious environment, with LP giving some great imagery in his verses while trading bars with Gangsta Boo. Mike comes in with a familiar flow as he talks about the real world woes of late stage capitalism and injustice in America. I especially like him donning the triplet flow that he had a part in pioneering through his feature on the Outkast song The Whole World. just sees the duo link up with previous collaborator Zach De La Rocha and superstar producer and artist Pharrell, and the hook here is an absolute killer. Pharrell and Zach singing about the slave masters on our money is a great lead-in to Mike's woes against money. While the minimalist sound is cool, I would have been really interested to see this collaboration on a harder hitting instrumental, especially considering how memorable the group's last collaboration with Zach De La Rocha was on Run the Jewels 2. Never Look Back goes back to the heavier synth sounds of Walking in the Snow and E.T. and the Goonies. It's another track where I wouldn't say anything is particularly wrong, as the lyrics are solid and the flow fits the more dour tone, but it is a lower energy moment on the album and it kind of blends into the background because of it. The Ground Below is a return of the tone from the beginning of the album, as the rock-inspired intro sounds like the grander presentation in production from earlier on this album, and it's a welcome change for this latter leg of the project. Mike's flows on the opening is filled with confidence and booms over this rockin' beat. The chorus is a bit weak, especially in the singing, but the verses more than make up for it. This is easily up there with Ooh La La and Yankee and the Brave, one of the more underrated moments on the album. Pulling the Pin sees the group get explicitly political with their usual synth and bass heavy production, as the duo once again take on capitalism and the woes of the modern day world. The weight of the subject matter does carry through, especially in the chorus from Mavis Staples. The duo's rapping is still as solid as ever, especially Mike's passionate delivery on his verse, but the track does weigh a bit heavy to keep on regular rotation. A Few Words for the Firing Squad sees the group get retrospective about their rise to the top and how they plan to continue growing in their own way. It has the necessary build-up for a memorable closer, which is helpful considering the almost 7-minute runtime. They're lucky they make it work. The duo delivers their bars like it's the last time we'll ever hear from them, really adding to the finality in this closing track. The production builds up well, if a little predictable, into the album's closer, which finishes the TV intro from the start of the album. With a beat I do kind of wish they had a whole song as they sing about Yankee and the Brave to close this stellar album. RTJ4 is a lot of things. For me, it was my introduction to the group, packed with enough bangers to more than recommend their back catalog. Its highlights are some of the best of the 2020s, all the more impressive considering that it came out halfway into the decade's first year. If you have yet to check out one of hip-hop's strongest power duos, I think you should start here. You're gonna have a good time. RTJ4 by Run the Jewels is an 8 out of 10 and currently sits at number 157 on the list. Be sure to let me know your favorite RTJ song in the comments, and I'll see you all for the next review. Peace.